There you go.
All right, we're good. Thank you for your patience. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the meeting of the Plan Advisory Committee for October the 15th, 2025. I'll start the meeting by giving a brief overview of what the Plan Advisory Committee's mandate is, as well as a breakdown of how the meeting will progress. The Plan Advisory Committee consists of 9 citizens of St. John who've been appointed by the city's nominating committee. Our role is to provide advice to common councils on applications to amend the municipal development plan, the zoning bylaw, or Section 59 conditions, subdivision proposals, along with a number of other possible issues. Our views and opinions are independent. Tonight's meeting will progress as follows. Shortly, the committee will vote to adopt the agenda for this evening's meeting. Following the adoption of the agenda, we'll do a roll call for the members of the committee. We'll then approve the minutes for a previous PAC meeting, then declare any conflicts of interest for this evening's items. We will then go through this evening's application and follow that agenda until it is complete. For each item, city staff will provide an overview presentation. Following this, the applicant will be asked to address the committee. Once the applicant has finished their presentation, the committee may ask follow-up questions. The committee may ask the applicant to return to respond to any comments. After this, the public hearing section is closed. Tonight, there is no public hearing. I'm going to cross that off, sorry. Please remember that this is a safe space and that we ask for everyone to conduct themselves in a respectful manner. Should anyone interrupting the proceedings will receive one warning to refrain from disrupting the meeting. Should disruptions continue, they will be asked to leave the meeting. Members of the public, you are welcome to remain in the chambers to listen to the debate and decision of the committee. However, when your item is concluded, you may leave. Should you have any follow-up questions, please contact city staff. So let's move on to this evening's meeting. Everything in front of me. We will start by looking for a motion for pass tonight's agenda. Mover Terry, seconder Phil. Any question? All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Roll call. I'm Brad Mitchell, the chair. First chair, Phil Como. Second chair, Ann McShane. Councilor Gary Sullivan. Councilor Jerry Lowe. Peter Pappas. Peter. Alicia Ullimaberry. Terry Hutchinson. Josephine Chekwa. Thank you. I'm asked if there's any declaration of conflicts of interest on the 2 items that we're dealing with tonight. I see none. So I'll ask for on the PAC meeting of September 16th, the approval of minutes. Do I have a motion? And you have a question? As amended, yes. Colleen, you have that amendment with the change of chair and vice chair. Ann and Gary have made the motion second. All those question? All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. All right. So item 5.1. One moment, please. .1. Applicant is the St. John Industrial Parks. Zone is media industrial. Application type is zoning bylaw text amendment. The Community Planning Act. Hang on, I've got to clean up my screen here. Authorize the planning advisory committees to give its views to common council concerning proposed amendments to the zoning bylaw. Common council will consider the committee's recommendation at a public hearing on Monday, November the 3rd, 2025. Please go ahead.
Can I? Yeah. Yes. Oh, there we go. Ish.
Yeah.
Just stay for Just stay for
Yeah. Isn't technology great? Yes. We have to have this up since it's not a public hearing. Can't you just read it?
Oh,
No?
there we
Yeah.
go.
Nothing to it. Oh, there we go. Thank you.
Okay, good evening. The City of St. John is before you today, a proposed text amendment to the zoning bylaw to allow for crematorium use in the medium industrial zone. The next couple of slides should help in understanding our proposal more. So this application is seeking to amend the current text in the zoning bylaw pertaining to the medium industrial zone, which is the IM zone, to allow for the creation of a crematorium use that will enable a standalone crematorium facility without the broader elements of the funeral service use that includes visitations, preparation of bodies for burials, and sales of coffins. So this is the definition, which you can see on the screen, that we are proposing. That is, a crematorium means a development where the buildings or structures are used to cremate human or animal remains. As for the parking requirements, it would be 1 per 50 square meter. And what this change would essentially do is it would eliminate some of the land use conflicts that could occur if a full funeral service establishment were to be developed. That would entail hosting clients, conducting visitations and services in an industrial area, while also streamlining the approval process. This would also provide flexibility in establishing crematoria development on sites across the medium industrial areas of the city. This will ensure that crematoria developments can be developed as standalone facilities within the IM zone, which will typically require rezoning and will be subject to more robust site development requirements. So what we did is we looked at the licensing requirements for the province of New Brunswick and did a comparative analysis of different municipalities across across different jurisdictions in Canada. So as you can see on the screen, the licensing requirements for the province of New Brunswick were looked at with Section 40 of the Cemetery Companies Act, stating that no cemetery company shall establish a crematorium until the minister, which is the Minister of Health, has approved the same. And what the jurisdictional scan got us was when I did the scan, we found just 2 Canadian municipalities, which is the cities of Calgary and Edmonton in Alberta, that had the use of a crematorium as a permitted use within the industrial zone. So you can see it as a permitted use and the zones that they're allowed in. So after sending out the report, this was one amendment that we had done. I believe it was yesterday. That is to add a minimum separation distance, which is, of course, open for PAC consideration. And the separation distance would be 300 meters between the site of the crematorium and certain sensitive uses, which are the residential uses, daycare services, which is all of them, center, home, or neighborhood, and the schools, K to 8 and 9 to 12. That's the only amendment we made. And as for the alignment with the city's municipal plan, the proposed amendment, which would permit the development of crematoria, aligns with the city's broader objectives pertaining to a broad range of compatible medium industrial uses that have minimal nuisance levels or risks that will not extend beyond the boundaries of the lot. And so, namely, these are the two policies that we assessed. And while this is the policy LU 73 that is seeing a text amendment to allow for standalone crematorium facilities in the IM zone, the industrial nature of crematorium use provides options for existing and future service providers to establish standalone crematorium facilities within the IM zone that are not associated with the broader communal functions of the business, which include the ceremonial functions that is related to the funeral industry, which would be visitations, memorial services, and the sale of coffins. And as for the Policy LU 74, this amendment will enable a more desirable use of the industrial space in the IM zone for crematorium use instead of placing them within residential zones. And the broader communal functions that I spoke about just now, which would include the ceremonial functions, can be held at more desirable locations as stipulated in the zoning bylaw. As for the public engagement piece, since this is a text amendment, the only public engagement is the required city's website notice for the public, which was posted on or before the 13th of October. We have had no letters, and the public hearing for this application will be on November 3rd. We have been in touch with the applicant, that is St. John Industrial Parks, regarding this, and when they received an application from Fundy Funeral Homes to create this facility. So the applicant spoke as part of engagement. They spoke to industrial property owners in the McAllister Industrial Park, and no concerns were identified. So staff are recommending that Common Council approve bylaw number CP 111209, which is a text amendment that was essentially propose new crematorium use as a permitted use in the IM zone. We are also recommending that the proposed new definition also be accepted. Thank you.
Thank you. Does any member of the committee have questions for staff? Thank you. There is no public hearing on this. So at this point, I'll open this up for discussion amongst the committee. I'm looking for a motion. Is the applicant here? No. So I'll look for a motion. Motion, Terry. Seconder.
Just gonna clarify, is this the amended, so with the proposed tweaks that Roseanne highlighted? Just want to make sure we're getting the right motion.
Is it presented? Okay. Thank you. I have a motion and a seconder. Any question? All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Item 5.2. Applicant is PMG Living. Landowner is Paul Megadan. Plan address is 1429 Loch Lomond Road, PID 552444628. Plan designation is stable residential. Zoning is low-rise residential. Application type is Section 59 amendment. The Community Planning Act authorizes the Planning Advisory Committee to give its views to Common Council concerning the proposed amendments to the Section 59 conditions on the subject property. Common Council will consider the committee's recommendation at a public hearing on Monday, November 3rd, 2025.
Thank you. Before you is an application to amend the Section 59 conditions at 1429 Loch Lomond. In 2022, the site, including an adjacent portion to the west, was rezoned to allow for the development of 2 apartments and a series of townhouses. conditions were then imposed upon it. In 2023, these conditions were amended to allow for the apartment buildings to increase their unit count and height. The application is now before you to amend the conditions on the townhouse developments to allow for an increase in height and remove the condition that restricted that. The applicant has submitted a revised proposal that would see 3 stories in the front of the townhouses and then 2 stories in the rear facing the existing dwellings along Lakefield Court. The condition in question was condition A, and it limited the height of both the apartment buildings and the townhouses, as well as the unit count. As construction is underway for the apartments, the conditions are no longer relevant for that portion of the property, so we are suggesting a full removal of that condition rather than just amending it. The subject site is located on Loch Lomond Road within the primary development area in East St. John, and it covers about 7,227 square meters. Although it has a Loch Lomond address, it will be on a new private street called Blue Jay Way. The site was part of a larger design concept with the adjacent western property, and it would share that access. Permits have been issued for the 2 4-story buildings on the adjacent property. This area includes low-rise zoning, mid-rise zoning, as well as some commercial and institutional uses such as seniors housing, churches, convenience stores, and gas bars. Here's an image of the site with the first apartment to the right. This area in the front is where the townhouses would sit. The picture is slightly out of date from midsummer, but due to the construction and the equipment, we couldn't get a clearer picture. I did have one submitted just yesterday, more up to date on the eastern portion of the site. This is the berm that was a condition and is still a condition that we are not recommending removing. And then the townhouses would sit kind of just in front of those vehicles and where the vehicles sit. The site is designated stable residential in the municipal plan, which includes existing neighborhoods within the primary development area and must be on municipal services, and which have the potential to accommodate additional development at a scale and density consistent with surrounding context. Policy LU 86 within the stable residential designation says that housing of almost every form and density can be found. This proposal aligns with the goal of integrating increased density and intensification into existing neighborhoods and reflects density found in the wider context. LU 87 intends that areas designated stable residential will evolve over time and new built form will occur, and redeveloped land would reinforce predominant community character. The intent of the townhouse development conforms to LU 87 as townhouses offer more housing options and provide a density transition between the single family bungalows and mid-rise areas. And this proposal adds density and housing diversity in East St. John, and it supports future generation of population growth and changing housing needs. Townhouses also complement surrounding low-rise building typologies, which are very common in the low-rise designation. The site is zoned low-rise residential, which is intended to accommodate a range of ground-orientated, lower-density residential development. And this is in the variety of housing forms that includes 1 units, semi-detached duplexes, townhouses, stacked townhouses, and even small-scale apartments under 3 stories. The RL zone does allow for a maximum height of 3 stories or 11 meters. The surrounding neighborhood is also largely a mix of low-rise developments, but there is some mid-rise. And the proposed townhouses would meet all the standards of the low-rise zoning bylaw. Letters were mailed out to property owners within 100 meters of the subject site on October 3rd. They were delivered as the mail is not running, but we did get letters out. Public notice was posted on the city's website on October 13th for the public hearing before council on November 3rd. And we had 2 letters submitted before the beginning of the week. I believe we had a few more submitted at just before this meeting that were read by PAC. Staff are recommending that Common Council rescind Condition A, which would limit the height of development. And of course, since the apartments are already underway, we would just remove that condition as well. Staff are not recommending any new conditions or rescinding any of the other conditions specifically around landscaping. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee members have any question for staff at this time? Thank you. At this time, I'll call the applicant forward and ask you to give your name and whether you agree with staff recommendation. I'll remind you that you have 10 minutes. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm just getting over a cold. My name's Paul Mangin. I'm one of the principals of PMG. And yes, we do agree with it. And I can tell you why we're asking for it, or I can just answer your question.
Yes, please.
So the main reason for us being back here was we felt the need that Okay, sorry. We felt the need that we were going to need garages. Families, based on what we've been asking people, families basically with kids need places to put bicycles and whatever other toys they use. I know they show 3-story in the pictures, but in the back, it's only about 2 stories and 3 feet. And that's to accommodate the garage to go underneath the townhouse and to allow for a 4th bedroom with the egress window.
Thank you. Do the committee members have any questions for the applicant? Councilor Lowe?
Well, the hearings regarding the heights, am I allowed to ask any questions that were at previous PACs?
Dealing with this application.
Well, the decision that I made was based on something I was told at previous hearings. And I voted,
Happy
and I
to
vote,
answer.
actually, I voted for this the third time around. So I got a question I'd like
Go
to
ahead.
ask.
Sure.
Paul, when you were here before, you and the other gentleman, your partner in crime there, you talked about owner occupied of these townhouses. And now they're advertising as rental. What changed your mind?
The cost of construction.
Cost of construction.
So to build these for sale, we would have to do a condo corporation, which is extremely difficult to do in New Brunswick. The other reasoning was, we don't get any CMHC financing for construction. And the cost to build versus the cost of what you could sell it for it's not worth the risk.
But the difference is when I sat here before, I'm pro owner occupied because I think that's what's missing in the city, right? And I agree to condos is a hard thing to do in this province, but it is doable. I live in a condo. So does that gentleman over there live in a condo. So I mean, the condo thing is doable. I just curious why you moved from owner occupied, which no doubt made the neighbors happier than rentals, because in rentals, you could be here today, gone tomorrow, but back and back, right? So that's your reasoning. All right.
And to be fair, I don't know what it takes I'm only relying on my fundy engineering for the feedback that I'm getting from them.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any other questions for the applicant at this time? And then Gary?
Last thing you said, so Fundy Engineering recommended you not pursue condos?
No, we
Just
didn't
out of
recommend,
curiosity.
weren't going to,
Okay.
we didn't recommend that. What they went over was the list of things that were going to have to be done and the associated costs.
Okay, so it was just a financial decision in the end because of the sunk costs of building versus what you can recoup on the market?
Right.
Okay. Okay, that's it for me because I think somebody else has a question. They're probably going to hit one of my other questions, so.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I'm sure you can understand, it feels a little weird that we're back here again, right? Like, we had 2 very big conversations with the neighborhood to get to a point where buildings started to happen, things were fine, and I was a little surprised to see that we have a new application from that project again. Can you expand on, we need garages? Like, I'm just struggling with how we got to that point now where we're in a point where council had approved the plans and we expect things to move forward. Like, I would like a little more information to help me understand why we're back here again.
So when you start this process, you start with plan subdivision on paper, right? When you go to actually get the buildings designed, things start to change. they start to tell us that we can't do this, or it's going to make the main floor, if you put a garage in, it's going to make the main floor extremely small. These things all, you know, we didn't spend the money to have all the plans done back then because we wouldn't even know what we were allowed to do. So once you get to that stage, then we start spending money on drawing up plans. And, you know, what we asked for is not something that they can do. Without,
Okay, so I understand that. Was there any conversation, knowing the deep conversation we had the last two times, with the neighborhood about the changes that are happening?
I did go and talk to all the neighbors that were backing on to our lot.
Okay, how'd those conversations go?
They went generally well. I mean, I was just trying to explain to them, because when you look at this, you say 3 stories, it's like you're going to be towering, but really we're asking for about 3 extra feet as far as the neighbors behind us are concerned, right? So, I mean, I pointed out the negatives. It's 3.5 feet taller. I pointed out a possible positive, you know, it blocks any of the lamppost lights shining into their backyard at night. You know, I mean, everybody's going to look at it differently, right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions at this time for the applicant? Thank you. We may call you back if there's
Thank
any
you.
other. Oh, sorry. I've got another question here. Bill, and this.
So we received a couple of letters, and a couple of the concerns that were the trees that they had planted. And I understand that wasn't on their land, it was on your land that they were built. But they were saying something that there was going to be a tree barrier. Are you planning on doing that?
So we followed what the city put forth on us, which is build the berm, plant the trees. We were just talking to a couple of neighbors now. I mean, we could probably put a few more trees in there. The problem is that these trees are going to grow 1 foot wide and 1 foot tall every year, right? So, you know, you can't put them 3 feet apart right now because they're going to overgrow into one another, right?
Is there any there now?
Yes, there is, but they're 5 feet tall, right? They're
Okay.
only a couple of feet wide, 5 feet tall.
Okay. So I guess to summarize, there is going to be a tree buffer there.
There is a tree buffer there now, but the
I think-
trees are only,
I think Councillor Lowe was there today and
Yeah,
and
well-
saw one little Charlie Brown tree, I
no,
think.
no, there's, no, we planted 49 trees. They're 5 feet tall.
Anyway, that was my question. I just wanted to know, and that will put these neighbors at ease to know that that tree barrier is
We're
coming.
willing to work with the neighbors. So I mean, if you know, if we needed to put a few more trees in, we'll happily do it. I'm not worried about the tree. Well, I mean, I do worry about the trees because that berm and stuff costs a lot of money, but
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Shima? Go ahead.
For why did you change the design for between the both previous one and this one? The house.
well, there was, so originally when we apply for the permits, we've only got a site plan and some renderings, right? So when you're looking at a 2-dimensional drawing and all you have is a box on it, right?
Yes.
The box itself wasn't designed yet. So when we went to ask the engineers to,
Mhm.
or I don't know, architect engineers to design the townhouses, we asked for a garage. And then they said that basically the way it is right now, if we put a garage, you're going to lose most of the main floor of the house.
Okay, but you have the deep for the driveway has been changed from the first one to the second one, and when it in
There's
the
always going to be a driveway.
yes, but it is different in the deep, and if you have this deep in the driveway, you can make a little bit extension for the garage, and you will have the 2-story townhouse.
So the garage is going to be like 70% below grade. So the driveways will slant downwards to go into the garage.
And
That's
it-
why at the back of the house, we only need an extra 3 feet really just to put the egress window in.
And for the backyard, the deck in the first one was in the first floor and then you change it now to the second floor.
I'm not sure I understand the question. So, I mean, the back, there was always going to be
The
raised.
patio.
The house was
the
always
patio in
raised.
the first one was in the first floor, but in the second one, it is the second floor, not the first one, the first floor.
Well, you've got your basement, which will be mostly the garage and
Yes.
1 bedroom. Then you have your main floor, which you got to go up a few sets of stairs to get into. And that's your living room and dining room and kitchen. And then the 3rd floor is
But
the,
do you
three
think we have now the patio or the deck in the second floor, this will not be annoying for your neighbor and even if you have 5 feet or something, because the patio
That's-
covers this.
yeah, that's what you guys are here to decide, right? If the 3 feet or whatever is going to make a difference or not.
You don't have any option to make the patio in the first floor, then you don't have the problem.
Well, okay, so the first floor is raised off the ground, right? It's about
It is-
5 feet.
But it's in your back.
Oh, you're talking about putting them in the front? Like putting a deck into the front of the house? Is that what you're referring to?
No.
No.
In the front of the house, you will have the driveway and the garage, right?
And the door, yeah, the door.
Yes, in the backyard.
In the
The
backyard.
the patio in the second one, it is in the second floor, not in the first floor.
Well, that is the first floor, but it's raised a little bit off the ground, right? So your decks are going to be about, this high off the ground in the backyard. Cross-section. Yeah, that's why when I saw what they distributed, it was like, okay, it looks like it's 3 stories, but it's not really 3 stories. There is a cross-section in there that does show, if you look at the original, it's one of the smaller pictures where you can see the land slopes upwards. You're calling it the second floor, but it's only about that high off the ground.
Oh, yeah, I see what he's, yeah.
In the same level of-
Well, see, they're showing this,
Technically second
but this
floor,
is
but in the
actually
back
ground
would be
level.
the first floor. That's how we would count it.
And then,
Yeah.
yeah, because that's the egress from the bedroom.
So I guess the big question is, are you considering the first floor the below grade? Or are you considering the first floor the above grade?
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Jerry, you've got a question again? Yep. Go ahead. You're finished? Yeah, yes, thank you.
Okay?
Yep.
Yeah, the piggyback on what she said. I'm in the back of your house. And I'm not happy with the burn, that's for sure. So you're telling me that the deck is down there by the deck that's going on the back of the houses?
Yeah.
How high is it off the ground?
So that'll be just above the egress window.
So it's
Yeah, roughly
3 feet off the ground.
3 or 4. I don't want to say exactly
No,
because I don't
okay,
know.
okay,
but-
no, that's fair ball. 3 or 4 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
Off the ground and back is where the deck is. So if there was a human that was 6 feet tall, it'd be, the top of the hair would be 10 feet, right?
Yeah,
Four
yeah,
and
if you're
six.
standing
All right.
there, yeah.
No, that's what I want.
Thank you.
If somebody's standing on the deck, it's obviously going to be another.
Any other questions at this time for the applicant? Thank you.
Thank you.
So at this time, we would have public comments. As we all know, Common Council has decided that we don't have public comments at PAC anymore. We do have letters. So we have the four or five letters that we have received. But there will be no public comments, unfortunately, tonight. If they have comments, I would suggest that they show up in force at the Common Council meeting.
Mr. Chair, when did that go in?
That went into
Go ahead,
effect
Jerry,
last
set the
month.
mic there.
Thought it got deferred.
You know, if that's the rule, I didn't know it went into effect. I'm sorry. I think I told that gentleman that he would be able to speak. And I also said you definitely can speak at first and second reading of council in front of council. You can't the third reading. You can come and listen to the decision, but I'm the guilty party. I was out there today and I told them that they could speak because I thought it was still in effect. I just want to clarify.
I still have questions. I'm just going to be clear about this. I have total issues with this because I've been watching this whole thing unfold and thought it was all on hold and you guys were going to come and get back to us. I didn't know this was a done deal till right now. So I don't know how the community was supposed to know about it because I'm sitting on this committee and I didn't know it was actually going into effect immediately. So I've got some issues with that. So I'd love to overturn that temporarily and hear from people. And I don't know if I want to participate in this after that, but thank you.
Advertise the public hearing for this event. Would have, if that was in effect. Yeah.
So we were, at public hearing apparently was not advertised.
It was not advertised. The letters that went out to members of the public very clearly stated that there was no public hearing at PAC. Our website has been updated to reflect that last month. But they were invited to attend the council meeting where the public hearing occurs on November 3rd.
Yeah, so this is one of the issues that we're having with this. Yeah, and of course, I just found out about this as we were sitting down. Yeah, I don't. So there is no public hearing. And at this time, we do have the letters. If there's committee members have questions for the developer and the applicant at this time, they please feel free. Councilor Paul?
One down. And like I want to clear, I'm the one that made the mistake. I'm the one that told them, like, you know what I mean? But I also know they can come and speak in first and second reading of council, right, Gary?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they can't speak the third one. You said that you visited the people, which is good. I believe you. But you said you'd like to be happy with them. Can you look at, like, he told me something I didn't know. He said 3-4 feet, oh, it was you, right? 3 or 4 feet off the ground is the deck. And a 6-foot person would be at 10. Are you willing? I mean, to me, out there, there's no privacy whatsoever. And when this thing started, 135 units when you first came to town, and then your partner came with you, and you came back to PAC, and I think we were 3 times, right? It was always privacy we talked about. You know, the idea that, I mean, I went out and looked at today. I'm happy with the building you got built, and I'm happy with the roof you're building on the ground that you're probably going to put up. But man, when I look at those big trees you said you built, and the rock,
We didn't,
and the rock pile that runs along there, and the tree sitting in the middle, you know, Paul, I don't consider that privacy, and I don't think it would make the people on that thing happy. If you're willing to make that happy, then I think that's
yeah,
great.
well, we always wanted to work with the neighbors. But I can't plant 20-foot trees. Like, it's just going to cost an
Fence.
astronomical.
Fence.
You know, it's funny, I asked for a fence originally and everybody said we couldn't do it.
Who said you couldn't? do it?
And again, how high is the fence going to be? Right now, the biggest problem with the trees is they haven't grown in, right? They're only a couple of feet wide.
You'll
So,
be dead and buried out in that graveyard, that cemetery.
well, I was told
Through the ashes.
I was told they grow 1 foot high and 1 foot wide every year.
You'll still be out there where the ashes are, out in the grave, out in the industrial
It
park.
might be, I'm not an arborist,
That'd be
so I
wicked.
really don't, I know I got big trees at home and they were only 12 years old, but
And But he brought it up. He's the one that started the conversation, and that's why I'm carrying on the conversation. If he hadn't brought it up, I couldn't talk about it. I agree.
Yep.
All I'm saying, Paul, would you meet with them again and maybe some sort of offense to, you can say yes or no.
I don't know. I mean, it'll all depend on cost, right? I mean, council was the one that made us build that berm. And I know it doesn't look like much to you, but
Oh.
believe it or not, there's $25,000 worth of stone on that berm, right?
Oh, there's a lot of stone, right? And you paid a lot for those trees, I imagine, too, right?
Those trees were like $250 each, right? Plus
You
installation.
get your money
So,
back.
and there's 49 of them. Okay, so,
All I'm asking, would you meet with some of the neighbors and discuss the privacy? That's all.
you know
wouldn't
what?
have said
I
if you hadn't brought it up.
we could look at putting more trees in, but I mean, 6-foot trees, like you can't really buy anything. You
All I'm
can fill them
asking,
in more, but
all I'm asking, would you meet with the neighbors and talk about the privacy?
we've always met with the neighbors. We've tried to do our best. Did you know that most of the neighbors there had stuff built on our property? And
I
we
knew
worked
that.
with we worked around a neighbor to not have to move his shed. We worked around with another neighbor that built his whole shed on our property. We've even worked with as possible to move the rocks around in the ponds and whatever else. So we're trying to be good neighbors.
So you
But there's
will,
only so much
you will,
money.
you will talk to them then, right?
Absolutely.
Good.
They all have my
Done.
phone number.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from the committee at this time? So I guess the public hearing portion will be closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time. And I would, at this time, is there any questions for staff? If not, then I'll conclude the public hearing and then ask for committee members for any further discussion. Have a motion. Do I have a discussion? I have a motion. Do I have a seconder? I have a seconder for Terry. Any question? All those in favor? Those opposed? It is passed. Thank you. Those that from the public, November 3rd at Common Council back here. Next on the agenda. Thank you. Is new business. Next meeting is November the 18th. And I look for a motion for adjournment. Got a motion from Phil, seconded by Terry. All those in favor? Thank you. Yeah, cut me a little off there.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have. All right, how do we do?
I've got a cold bottle of wine at home.
I'm going to a Scotch tasting.
I'm coming with you then. Oh, God. Okay.
Getting pointed out by someone.
This is not recording up here.
She told me to make it over.
Oh, I'm just trying to get this to my recording.
He asked me one day. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah.
I saw Jerry tweeting at me, so. Yes,
Situation tomorrow. Do I get double for this, Phil?
yes, yes.
Yeah. I said, what?
So we-
Yes.
Yes.
So Peter.
Are you- Yes, so, it's a shame.
Don't touch anything.
Because you all altered it. So it started like with the shipping. And it's being altered. So right now shipping